week. On Monday, another priest of the Catholic Church was kidnapped by bandits in Kauru local government area of Kaduna State. The victim, Reverend Father Emmanuel Silas, was kidnapped from the parish rectory of St. Charles Catholic Church, Zambina, in Kauru local government within the early hours of Monday. The incident comes less than 2 weeks after the priest in charge of the Kaduna Polytechnic Catholic community, Reverend Father Vitus Borogo, was killed on his farm at Kujama in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. The police are yet to comment on the development, but the Chancellor of Kafancha Catholic Diocese, Reverend Father Emmanuel Okolu, confirmed the incident, saying that they were able to know about the incident when the priest did not show up for the early morning mass on Monday. He, however, solicits the prayer for the immediate and safe release of the kidnapped priest, saying that the Catholic community will use all available legal means to ensure the release of the kidnapped Reverend Father. Also on Monday, in what could be described as drama, some of the victims rescued from the Old Bible Believers Church at Valentino area of Ondo Town in Ondo West local government area of the state by the men of State Police Command have refused to leave police custody. Galaxy News reported that no fewer than 77 people, comprising 54 adults and 23 children, were allegedly hypnotized and kept locked up in the church by the pastor of the church, Mr. Anifowoshi David, and his 45-year-old assistant, Mr. Josiah Peter. It was gathered that the assistant pastor, Josiah Peter, claimed rapture was going to take place by September. Hence, he encouraged the church members to stay behind in the church. While reacting, the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Mrs. Adebumi Osadao, said the government is working out modalities to rehabilitate those that need rehabilitation and might go legally by taking custody of some of the children. Also briefing journalists on Monday on the latest development at commanded quarters in Akure, the police public relations officer in the state, Fumilayo Odunlami, said despite different appeals, the victims vowed to remain in the police custody until their pastor and his assistant are released. She added that the pastor and his assistants will be charged to court upon completion of investigation. Amoshebi James Oluwole, Olaniyan Patrick, and Olaonikpe Kuntemidayo are relatives of the victim that they have the same sad tales to tell after they come to secure the release of their loved ones. Still on Monday, an office of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Enugu State has been set ablaze by yet-to-be-identified arsonist. The development was confirmed in a brief statement on Monday by INEC's National Commissioner, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye Esquire. Mr. Okoye disclosed that the resident electoral commissioner for Enugu State, Mr. Emeka Ononamadu, reported that INEC Igboize North Local Government Area office had been burnt. According to the REC, the attack happened at about 11:48 p.m. on Sunday, the 3rd of July 2022. The arsonists is said to have overpowered the security guard, forced their way into the premises, and set the building ablaze. Although no casualties were reported, 748 ballot boxes, 240 voting cubicles, office furniture, and equipment were destroyed in spite of the best effort of the Enugu State Fire Service deployed from Nsukka. According to Mr. Okoye's communique, the Commission is working to ascertain the status of voters' registration machines for the ongoing continuous voters' registration exercise, as well as uncollected permanent voters' card (PVC) locked up in the fireproof cabinet. He added that the incident has been reported to the Nigerian Police for investigation and further action. On Tuesday, the House of Representatives Other Committee on Volume of Daily Fuel Consumption has summoned the GMD, NNPC, CBN Governor, Minister of State Petroleum, Accountant General of the Federation, and others. This follows the refusal of these major stakeholders to honor the invitation to appear before the committee despite receiving invitation from the committee clerk. The other committee on the volume of daily consumption of fuel was set up on Thursday, sequent to a motion sponsored by Honorable Sergeant Sugun at plenary. Part of his mandate was to investigate to determine the daily consumption of PMS in the country, but the absence of critical stakeholders like the NNPC, NPA, CBN, AGF, and even the Minister of Finance and the Permanent Secretary at the hearing infuriated members, including the representative of the Speaker, Honorable Peter Patterson. The committee, however, went ahead with proceeding after the intervention by some members advising the legislative time should not be wasted. It then gave time to agencies like IPMAN, DAPMAN, Governors Forum, the Organized Labour, among others, to make submissions. The committee thereafter adjourned indefinitely to review the situation before returning to the hearing room. Also on Tuesday, Delta State Governor and Vice Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 general election, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, has admitted losing his West Africa examination certificate WAEC result, but still has the printout of the result from his secondary school, Edo College in Benin City. Governor Okowa made the disclosure while fielding questions from newsmen at the government house in Asaba, the state capital. The Delta State Governor, who was reacting to several online and newspaper reports that he has no WAEC certificate, said he had the second best result in the country in 1976 at Edo College. Speaking further, Governor Okowa, who is the running mate of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, stressed the politicians have nothing to hold against him, saying it is clear that he graduated from University of Ibadan Medical School. Still on Tuesday, Justice Ladiran Akintola of the Oyo State High Court 7 again restrained the State House of Assembly from initiating any impeachment process against the Deputy Governor of the state, Engineer Rauf Olaniyan. Recalled that Olaniyan had gotten an injunction restraining the Assembly from proceeding with impeachment process against him, having replied the petition served on him by the Assembly. At the resumed hearing on Tuesday, counsel to the defendant, Kunle Kalejaye, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, informed the court that he had served a counter affidavit and replied to the point of law to the originating sermon and interculatory injunction granted the claimant by the court. Responding, counsel to the claimant and the Deputy Governor of Oyo State, Afolabi Fashanu, said he only received the scanned document on Saturday, adding that he had limited time to respond to the process adequately, thereby prayed the court to grant an adjournment. Counsel to the respondent, Kunle Kalejaye, countered the move, stressing it was an attempt to buy time and thereby subvert the course of justice in the matter. After a series of arguments among the counsels, the court adjourned the case to Wednesday, 6th of July, for the claimant counsel to file a reaction to the responses sent impeachment proceeding of the Oyo Deputy Governor's seat. The Speaker, Oyo State House of Assembly, Oyo State House of Assembly, and the Court, Oyo State House of Assembly, are the first, second, and third defendants in the matter, respectively. The Minister of Defense, Bashir Magashi, on Wednesday says all the 64 members of the Boko Haram terrorists fled the Kuje prison facility after the attack. Gunmen had stormed the facility on Tuesday with explosions and gunshots heard from the direction of the correctional center located in Abuja, the nation's capital. Reacting to the Kuje prison break, Magashi said there are strong indications that terrorists invaded the facility to free their members being held in detention. He explained that the federal government is working hard to ensure that other fleeing inmates were being recaptured and kept back in the facility. Noting that the situation is under control, he said the correctional center could accommodate 994 prison inmates. Of the figure, the Minister of Defense said the government has been able to track down 600 inmates who have been recaptured. He stated further that before the end of the day, many more inmates still hiding would be rearrested and sent back to the facility. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Shuaibu Belgore, had earlier explained that over 300 of the inmates have been retrieved and more are on the way. President Muhammadu Buhari Wednesday visited the Medium Security Custodial Center Kuje, attacked by terrorists, spending about 30 minutes there. Soon after he arrived, he was briefed about the attack by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Dr. Shuaib Muhammad Lamido Belgare, and the Comptroller General of Nigerian Correctional Service, Aliru Nababa, showing him the bomb-out section used to access first and the records office which was set on fire, adding that the invaders thereafter launched an attack on all cells in which Boko Haram terrorists were held. The president was apprised that at the end of it, none of the 63 terrorists are accounted for, but it was emphasized their records are not lost because they have been backed up. He also questioned how many of them they could account for at the time of his visit, among many other questions. Senior Special Assistant to the President in Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, in a statement, said the president was also informed that the security forces have recaptured 350 of the escapees, while about 450 others are still unaccounted for, and that rapid work is underway to recapture the rest. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday assigned portfolios to 7 newly appointed ministers, charging them to serve the nation diligently, maintain unalloyed loyalty to the country and office of the president. The president also announced the reassignment of portfolios in his cabinet, saying the new redeployment is aimed at reinvigorating certain sectors where the government desired to accomplish improved results. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony, which precedes the virtual Federal Executive Council FEC meeting, the president said as his administration is now on the home stretch of its second term, more work still needs to be done in diverse areas of the economy and national life. The newly appointed ministers and their portfolio are Ikechukwu Iko, Minister of State Science and Technology, Umana, Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Hudi Hudom, Minister of State Environment, Ademola Adegoroye, Minister of State Transport, Umar Ibrahim Eli Yakub, Minister of State Works and Housing, Goodluck Opia, Minister of State Education, and Nakama Ikumakama, Minister of State Health. Other ministers who were reassigned portfolios include Senator Adeleke Mamura, Minister of Science and Technology, Muhazu Jaji Zambo, Minister of Transportation, among others. President Buhari urged the newly appointed ministers to be conscious that time is of the essence as they resume office. The Islamic State West Africa Province ISWAP, a terrorist group operating in parts of Nigeria, has claimed responsibility for Tuesday's attack on the Kuje Medium Security Custodial Center, where authorities say one security personnel was shot dead, while 3 others were critically injured. In a viral tweeted video in Arabic shared by the group, inmates were seen fleeing the facility amid chants of Allah Akbar by terrorists believed to have carried out the attacks to set their members out within the center. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Correctional Service has said that the security personnel of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps drafted to the center was shot dead by the attackers who stormed the facility through the fence and the main entrance using explosive devices. A total of 879 inmates escaped the facility during the attack. Out of this number, 443 were said to be on the run, another 443 were captured, leaving the total inmates currently in the facility at 551 in total. A statement from the service state said. Also on Thursday, Senate President Ahmed Lawan says the attack on the Kuje Medium Security Custodial Center by terrorists speaks volume about the failure of the country's security architecture. Lawan stated this on Thursday when he held a delegation of the leadership of the Senate to assess the level of attack on the correctional facility. Lawmakers on the Senate delegation, which also had some members of the Committee on National Security and Intelligence, were conducted around the facility by the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service, Alidu Nababa. He expressed displeasure on non-functional closed-circuit television (CCTV) at the prison. Other principal officers of the Senate described the attack as very disappointing and failure of security system. By time of resolution, the Senate President tasked the security agencies to ensure that the insurgents who escaped from the Kuje Medium Custodial Center are found and brought back. The Westminster Magistrate Court, the United Kingdom, on Thursday accepted that the kidney donor in case of former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu and his wife Beatrice is not a minor. Ekweremadu and his wife were arrested by the British police on June 23rd on allegations of human trafficking and organ harvesting that violates the country's Modern Slavery Act. The police authorities had accused the lawmaker of conspiring to bring a child to the United Kingdom for organ harvesting, saying the victim was a 15-year-old boy. During the continuation of the case, the prosecution accepted that he is 21 years old, contrary to earlier claim that he is 15. She said the prosecution has accepted that he is 21. The court thereafter fixed August 4 as the date of the next hearing. Recall the Federal High Court Abuja ordered the National Identity Management Commission (NIMC) to transmit the certified true copy of the biodata information of an alleged minor to the Attorney General of the Federation for our transmission to the UK to aid Ekweremadu's trial. The Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Maigari Dingyadi, on Friday says investigation is still ongoing in the terrorist attack on the Nigerian Correctional Service in Kuje, Abuja. Alhaji Dingyadi made the disclosure while addressing State House correspondents after a security meeting chaired by Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa. He said although some of the terrorists were killed by the security agents, government is still trying to unravel the causes of the attack to avoid a recurrence. The minister lamented the success of the attack in spite of security arrangements, saying that President Buhari has given a clear-cut directive to forestall further occurrences. He called on Nigerians to support government efforts in fight against insecurity. Finally, on Friday, the Ogun State governorship candidate of the Allied People's Movement (APM) in the 2019 general election, Abdulkadir Akinlade, has downed the All Progressive Congress for the People's Democratic Party, picking the deputy governorship ticket of the party ahead of 2023 general election. The former governorship candidate in the state on Friday arrived at the PDP secretariat in Abeokuta to formally declare for the major opposition party in the state. He immediately went into a closed-door meeting with the state executive members of the party, as well as PDP gubernatorial candidate Ladi Adebutu. Shortly after a closed-door meeting with state executive member of PDP, which lasted for about 2 hours, the state chairman Sikirilai Ogundele presented PDP membership ticket to Akinlade. Akinlade had agreed to run with Adebutu as deputy governorship candidate for next election. Speaking with newsmen, the governorship candidate of the party vowed to unseat the Dakwa Abiodun-led government. And that's it on Tracking the